Hello and welcome to the kickoff call for Geo for 12.7. My name is Rachel Nienaber and I'm the engineering manager for Geo, and I'm taking over the kickoff call for this milestone from Fabian as he is out on paternity leave. But big congratulations to Fabian, by the way. So let's begin. The first thing to make note of was we were planning to release the support for design repositories in 12.6, but we will be continuing work for this in 12.7. We have 3 more merge requests that need to go through the final review and have unfortunately missed the cutoff for this release, but that will be included in 12.7. So we will be wrapping that up and shipping that as part of the next milestone. The next thing that we're continuing to work on is getting Geo rolled out to the staging environment. Our larger plan is to get Geo onto GitLab.com to support the disaster recovery strategy there, but we need to first start with getting it deployed to staging. At the moment, we're at the point of enabling the database replication, and there's some further steps that we will need to be taking in January in terms of making sure that the Geo node is automatically updated with any upgrades that go to staging, along with adding that to the monitoring and closing out any documentation. Once we've done that, we'll also be supporting the rollout of Geo on the ops instance. And we'll be taking a further look at production once we've heard some more about the replication issue that is currently blocking the rollout there. All of the status is being maintained at the top level epic about enabling Geo for disaster recovery on GitLab.com. The next set of work we're planning to look at is improving planned failovers. At the moment, it can be quite cumbersome to follow a series of steps in order to get the failover to be successful. So we are currently discovering exactly what the system is capable of now and what improvements would make sense to do as a first iteration. The things that we have planned for 12.7 are to go through some demonstrations in detail for both single nodes and HA installations. Excuse me, and then from there, we'll be able to raise some issues to decide what the most effective things will be for the first iteration. But we think that this is going to make a big improvement for the life of the systems administrator that needs to go through a planned failover. Ultimately, if people are using Geo for disaster recovery, they should be practicing using planned failovers on a regular basis, and we want to make sure that that is as easy as possible for them. So this is going to be a fantastic effort once we get to the implementation of this. As I said, at the moment, we're still in discovery, determining what's there and what steps we need to be taking next. Following on, we're continuing to look at the SelfService Framework. We've finished up with a proof of concept to decide what the code should look like and how this should indeed work. And in 12.7, we will be converting one data type over to use the new framework. We still need to confirm some aspects of the verification side of that framework that weren't addressed in the proof of concept, but we're pretty confident that we'll be able to get the first data type moved over using the new framework, and we'll be able to put a demonstration together of how that can be used. Our plan further than that is to do another data type ourselves before we start to ask other teams to use the framework themselves to add any new data types onto GitLab. For further information about that, you can take a look at the proof of concept here. Another proof of concept that is also linked to this work is making the repository tables the single source of truth so that we can keep the backfill process quite simple and straightforward. This proof of concept is also moving along, and we hope to conclude that in 12.7 as well, which will support the self-service framework quite nicely. Other things we're taking a look at, Sanjung is continuing to look at improving the usability of the administrator interface. This is also in discovery at the moment as Sanjung continues to develop out the scorecards for the front end. We're hoping that this will advance into issues, into concrete issues for further discovery, for further investigation, and ultimately for implementation in the new year. Alongside that, we have also found from the distribution team that they've moved further along with their work on the provisioner tool, and we're looking forward to giving them feedback on how that provisioner tool is working. The provision is going to make it much easier for us to set up HA installations of Geo so that we can get through testing issues, specifically for that planned failover that I mentioned earlier on. having a faster way to set up machines in order to do tests will be a significant help to us. So thank you very much for the distribution team for helping us with productionizing the provisioner tool. Finally, we're also going to continue on some testing aspects that we've been looking at. We had a number of LFS-related issues that came up, both geo-related and GitLab-related, that came to us from our customers. So we'll be taking a closer look at the LFS features of the product in a form of a testing review. We'll be taking a look at that in 12.7 and figuring out figuring out the further tests that we need to write in order to feel confident that all of the edge cases are indeed covered. And we'll also be using that testing review as a way of structuring reviews for the other data types that Geo supports, because we want our customers to be confident that when they use Geo, they know that their data is going to be safe and fine, and that everything's going to be okay if they need it for a genuine disaster recovery incident. So that is a quick summary of what we'll be taking a look at in 12.7. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on the G_Geo channel on Slack, or feel free to get in touch with us through this discussion issue, the URL of which is visible in the recording here. Thanks very much for your time.